Hello, everybody, and I welcome all of you back to day 194 of our 1000 Dawns, and a little bit of a return to form because whilst there's things like shelves and that and a new bookcase to put up yet, those things don't come until at least Monday. So for now, we are we are at least for now back in familiar territory. And if it does sound as if I'm a little bit louder now, it's because with there being a little bit less stuff now in this room, I mean, I've got my desk set up and that, and the bed in the corner and stuff like that. I actually do quite like the fact that there's a little bit more room than ever before. So that's probably why I sound a little bit louder than normal. And when we're talking about other things that have slightly been changed, yeah, you have noticed is that for about the third time in my life, I have pretty much got it dead short. And I think it's fair to say, if the whole plan was to go forward into my 30s, pretty much hairless, probably legless as well, I thought, well, you know what, we might as well just get used to the feel of it at the moment. And I do have to admit, I actually do quite like the change, and it's certainly because I less than 24 hours ago I had also a beard, a mustache, and whatnot. This, however, feels far more streamlined, far more. I feel a little bit fresher now, to be honest, despite the fact that I'm literally coated in sweat. Yeah, that's just the heat wave and whatnot. And actually, speaking of this so-called fifth heat wave that technically went on during the day, it should be worth noting is that in about a month from now, I reckon we're probably not going to be having too many more discussions about heat waves and that and whatnot. Instead, we might have to start having conversations about the winter. Or possibly, what if one, I reckon at some point in my life, it may be this year, it may be in 10 years' time, we might actually have a winter where it doesn't even go anywhere close to freezing. I actually think with the climate change and whatnot, we might actually have a period where, guess what, we might not even have we might not even get temperatures as low as 4 during the day. And I remember in large parts of my adolescence there would be days in which the temperature would be about as high as 2 or perhaps even 1. There were some days where literally it did not feel like it went even just above freezing point. And this was like 15 or so years ago, and now I feel as if, well, how things seem to be changing already, however. But that's very, very dependent on what actually does take place during this winter. But it has given me a little bit of cause to think, actually, there is a point. What is going to happen by the time we get to winter? I know it's still a little bit early to decide such things, but then again, if government is willing to have, emergency COBRA meetings about climate change, then guess what? So can we. And there'll be plenty of time, plenty of moments between now and the next day to have thoughts about other matters. Because even at this stage, there's still more going on in here than there is still at any other point in my life put together. In fact, in particular, I did yet another extremely adult thing earlier today. The sort of thing that I may have even said 4 years ago was the most adult thing I had done yet, is that I paid for car insurance. Only this time, the insurance I paid this time, it's completely for my very first car because, oh yes, it arrives tomorrow. And well, pretty much that's basically the story right there. It's just me getting the new car, and well, so I spent a little bit of time earlier today getting the old car, washed inside and out, and I left it with just enough fuel in there and whatnot to send it on its last journey, so to speak, up to that great dual carriageway in the sky. Or hell if you don't believe in heaven for some reason. We're not judging here. And yeah, tomorrow, get my hands on the new motor, and it's already. I'm not going to say exactly how much it cost, including the insurance. But what I am going to say is that it's a good thing that I get back to work in about 3 days' time, because in the nicest possible way, I've got to start making money to pay for this. But thankfully, this wasn't a thing that didn't occur to me beforehand, and with everything else going on at the moment, I think we have chosen precisely the right moment for things to start falling in line. Because if the picture wasn't clear before, it certainly is now. In fact, it's almost like a miniature version of the sky outside. Because in a few weeks' time, maybe we'll forget the fact that the sky looks a little blue outside. But that's the agenda for the moment. A fresh start, a fresh coat of paint, a new motor, and once again a new renowned sense of vigor going through my body. So that's quite good. In the meantime, I'll speak to all of you guys again next time. Thank you.